Ready. Play.
Well, no rushing this time. There's a net cord. She puts her in control. Forehand volley could have been better, though. I don't think Samsonova makes the pass.
Samsonova missed the pass, though. Wasn't the best
Yeah,
volley. Could have been way
pretty
better.
close. Certainly wasn't the best volley. Certainly wasn't the best approach. But she manages to get it done. And in the end, I mean, we still kind of have to call it a relatively routine victory.
Yeah.
Could have been much more tricky, though. The first 8 games, really, really good performance from Samsonova. But Swiatek just locked in from start to finish, and things kind of unraveled after that one poor game that the Russian had at 4-5.
Well,
But,
so that is 90 minutes for Iga. And she plays Pegula just like she did in the 2022 US Open quarterfinal. So,
and the
And it's
2022
their-
Roland Garros quarterfinal. So yeah, she would be responsible for 3 out of 7 of Jesse's Grand Slam quarterfinal losses for the male Andrei Rublev, if you may. Do we watch the Minor Thompson, the fourth set at least, and then see what happens?
Yeah, but can we just
let's do that.
just do a couple of minutes on?
Oh, of course we will.
Iga?
Of course we will. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it looks promising for her, honestly. I think she's going to have a very tough set of opponents from here. Pegula may be the best chance that we kind of have for a
expect
very
Pegula-
competitive, high-quality match.
I expect the Pegula match to be very competitive.
Yeah.
Just the way that
And,
Pegula has been playing, the way she kind of likes these conditions, medium to fast, and the way she can also hang with Iga and break serve a lot, and just the confidence that she has from having won all those matches. I expect it to be a tight battle.
I like how Pegula just kind of took herself from, a mediocre season, no expectations really going into the North American hardcourt swing, and suddenly she's in better form than she was last year when we were thinking, like, is she going to win the US Open? Like, is it actually possible? And suddenly she's even better this year.
2 metrics that Samsonova won today. One was that she won more points on second serve than Iga. And they did have a bit relatively similar, like 20 second serves for Iga and 22 for Samsonova. And the other one was distance covered, which is not the metric you want to be winning in pretty much.
You don't want to win that state if you're
probably
Samsonova.
read fewer books today as well. I don't know.
Say again, what?
Read fewer books.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but then that's a metric there for the Iga one, I guess. If you want to read,
I guess probably that would be a green number would be on the Iga side. Yeah.
But there's one thing I want to highlight, which is 88% of points won on first serve from Iga. That may have been Samsonova erring, I don't know, but it is something that's been sort of highlighted at various points this year, that the Iga serve was something that she adjusted over the winter, and people were very quick to jump on it in Australia, going, "Oh, I wish she hadn't, made these adjustments because it's not working." In fact, it's got worse. Well, 88% of first serve points won. Is this an area of the game that Iga has taken a step forward in 2024? Either of you can answer that.
I think she's been serving, like, in terms of the pace. She's serving maybe on average 5 to 10 miles per hour faster. So she is like maybe hitting more effective body serves. It is more kind of the motion itself. Like, at first when I saw it in Australia, I was a little more critical of it, but I think in the play season it actually paid dividends. Like the match against Sabalenka in Madrid, and some big points, she was getting free points on the first serve in some matches. But also, like, the way that she's been, it's also a stat that really shows like how well she backs it up. I don't think it's the serve itself, but also the +1, also the, like, the error she was getting from Samsonova in the baseline rallies in the second set makes it maybe that one-sided. But yeah, I think
it's a very gradual change, definitely. Like, there's never been a moment where, like, this is completely different now after about a month. So maybe it's not that noticeable generally, but I do think she's serving better for sure.
The one against Coco Gauff, right? She was hitting like her average for serve speed was pretty high in Roland Garros.
I mean, she can beat Coco Gauff serving at 60% pace, but generally, like in Cincinnati, it was helping her before the Sabalenka match, right? It's more of a question to me, like, what happens in a match where that's not doing as much damage, where she's facing like a total, like, top tier opponent. because in Cincinnati she was also serving very well. It was kind of the saving grace at first for her event. Then she kind of gets into the rhythm, but of course Sabalenka just destroys her on the day. But yeah, against Samsonova, probably not the most meaningful stat though, because Ludmila is just going to be trying to hit massive returns anyway of whatever is coming at her. So, but of course it was so important today because if Samsonova lands an early break in the first set, maybe we get a completely different match.
No break points ultimately, as competitive as those first 8 games were, and I think we did have a love 30 at one point. I think it was the Iga serve that got her out of trouble. And no break points, so Iga goes through. For Pegula Swiatek preview.
Yeah, I mean, we've already said things, right? That we expect it to be very competitive, and it might be one of the best matches we get out of that rivalry, given how Jessie is playing.
Yeah, I'm expecting it to be their most competitive match so far, like in terms of quality and I mean Pegula definitely has a chance at beating Iga right now. The way that she's been playing, the kind of tennis that we know can trouble Iga, but at the same time, these last 2 matches have made me feel pretty good about Iga as well. The way she beats Maia-Muchova and Samsonova and similar type of opponents. But and we know Pegula hasn't won a slam quarterfinal, but she's played Iga twice, Barty once. The Vondrousova match is probably the one that got away for her. But I feel like this is she'll really come in confident and she'll like her chances. But I'm curious to see, is it a day match or a night match? Because
of course don't know yet, but
not sure.
What's going to be the next? What's going to be the other quarter? Haddad Maia against
Muchova. Yeah.
Muchova.
Yeah.
Should be a night match then, I guess. Maybe the same slot as today.
I actually think night helps. Night helps Iga. Night will still help Iga a little bit more. I think during the day the ball will fly a little bit more. It's a little bit faster, like in the sun. Pegula likes those conditions more.
Could be the same slot as today, I think. And in fact, Jessie in this matchup probably likes it faster. I mean, the way she played in Sydney, for example. Of course, there was also that argument that the Polish team had to fly over, change conditions, but still. And I still keep talking about this, by the way, but there was, I don't remember who it was, and I don't want to shame that person or anything, but I just remember a month or so ago, before Montreal anyway, or before Toronto, that was for the women this year, someone on this stream just posted a comment that Pegula is surely losing round 3 at the US Open or something like that, but Pegula is not a factor. And I just remember saying that but what if she does extremely well? And I don't think anyone during the warm-ups, and I don't think any one of us expected how well she would actually do, which is pretty much be the best player in there alongside Sabalenka.
Also, by the way, everyone's talking about playing the Olympics. She also played the Olympics, and I know she lost in the round of 16 maybe in doubles, and didn't go that far in singles either. She lost to Karolina, I think, in her second match. But still, she played. She was there for quite a while, and she still comes back and wins Toronto, gets to the final of Cincy, gets to the quarters here without dropping a set.
It's pretty good. Of the 3 medalists on the women's side are still in the tournament as well, in the form of Iga and Zheng. So I think that the playing the Olympics is a small factor, but the level that Novak has played all year, for example, on the men's side, and the level that Carlos brought to the court the other day, as well as the level of Botic, those factors were at least as important, if not more important, than just playing the Olympics for me.
Yeah, but I mean, that's kind of ignoring the cause and effect, relationship.
But back to Iga and Jessica. Just one word of caution on the Jessica thing. Her run to the final in Canada, pretty good. I think she did drop a set to the final before she then wins the final. I thought the level against Anisimova was good, but wasn't sensational. And then she comes up against an absolute A-class player in the form of Aryna Sabalenka in the final in Cincinnati, and she gets beaten fairly comfortably.
Iga Swiatek got beaten even more comfortably by
I
Aryna
think Pegula
Sabalenka in that
played
event.
Sabalenka the toughest of anybody in the.
She also was
tournament.
going for back-to-back titles, right? I
Which
mean,
hasn't been done in
in
over 15
2023,
years.
it didn't go well for her at all, right? She won Canada and then lost early in Cincy. I don't remember to whom even.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think it was against Trevisan.
Really?
Favorite. Yeah. No,
No.
wait, was it? I think it might have been.
Really? She lost to Trevisan at 2023 Cincy, and we were still thinking of her as one of the main US Open contenders, and that's kind of what I was going for earlier as well.
Oh,
like
no.
she's actually better than
I'm off there. She beat
was like
Trevisan in 3.
Dolchait
But
or
it was
no?
really tight. Like, she almost lost Trevisan.
So who was
Like,
it?
it was not convincing. It was against Bushkova.
Buskova.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, but still, like, not, it was like 6-4, 6-0 against Bushkova.
Yeah, like she actually did so much better in following up her Canada results. Yeah. And I understand the A-class player argument, but like Swiatek was dominated even more by Sabalenka. So
she also beat Muchova early in that tournament, and she was down a set in that match and a tight second set as well. So
yeah, at that point was definitely more surviving than anything else. Yeah.
I'm not as big on Pegula's chances as maybe you both are.
The upset?
I think Iga wins this in straights, and yeah, that's how I see it. I think that the night factor, if it is a night match, I think the slower court conditions at least will favor her. We remember one of Pegula's 3 wins at least coming in Sydney super quick. I think the roof may have been closed there in Sydney for that match. I think the quarterfinal factor, I don't think it's as big a factor as some may make out with both her and, of course, Andrei Rublev. It's more often than not the quality of the opponent they come up against, with the odd exception in Pegula's case, for example, the Wimbledon quarterfinal against perhaps Vondrousova. But again, this is the quality of the opponent, and we are now talking about the elite, the 2 favorites for this tournament. Obviously, Sabalenka on the other side of the draw and Iga on this side. I think it's going to be difficult. I predicted a Swiatek Sabalenka final, and there's nothing I've seen in the last 10 days that's led me to change my mind, and that includes, the form of Jessica Pegula as well.
One is not like the other. I mean, Sabalenka is a bit, I think. Well, I mean, obviously she can just have a horrible match somewhere where Swiatek probably won't really. Like, her floor is much higher, but I don't know. I think Sabalenka still has a better chance to make the finals, and that's also because of the opponents that Swiatek will face. Yeah, Pegula, Muchova, someone who can like take a lot of arguments from her. She's gonna beat Haddad Maia. She's gonna beat Haddad Maia.
Yeah, I think she's gonna beat Haddad Maia as well. Like based on
Muchova is in the semis, and Badosa is in the semis, and Sabalenka is in the semis. Swiatek is tentatively in the semis.
Yeah.
So Badosa-Navarro, I'm not so sure that Badosa's in the semis.
I'm not so sure either.
I just had to quickly have a quick look. So
I just had her in my semis, so I'm like,
sure. I also did too pre-tournament.
At least this has to go in, right? Like Hechka didn't, Osaka didn't. This has to go in.
I'm also thinking of the match that Navarro played after she beat Coco at Wimbledon, which was just, I mean, she got destroyed by Paulini.
Absolutely horrible in that Wimbledon quarterfinal, yeah.
And so
she did not do herself justice with that performance, no.
I would go Swiatek, Muchova, Sabalenka. And you know what? I think I might go Navarro, but it is 50-50, that one. That's the hardest one for me.
We'll go Badosa for the Navarro match.
I
went favorite for me.
Okay. I went Osaka at the beginning of the tournament to make the semis, which kind of looked a bit funny at the time, but also maybe doesn't. I know it's on a different.
It's not. She wins against Muchova. She makes the semis, I think.
Yeah.
And
that defeat is aged well. I thought it might. I hoped it might as well for Naomi's sake, as well as Muchova's. But when she puts the drive volley at the end of the match,
does she make the semis though? She beats.
Not necessarily, but
I mean, she beats Muchova.
I think she beats Haddad Maia.
I think so, yeah. I mean, Muchova just basically took over everything I imagined for Naomi in this event. Maybe I was stupid to kind of ignore Muchova,
No, I
but
can see that
well,
actually.
not much was really like suggesting that she would play like this, even though she has, all that talent, all that repertoire. But yeah, I mean, Muchova just literally took over for Osaka, I think, in how I imagined that quarter going.
By the way, we talked about easy runs potentially for Jack Draper, of course, to the quarterfinals and maybe even beyond. But Badosa's run, not bad, right? Not quite handpicked, but
I mean, Russo was really tough in the third round.
yeah, but
Townsend as well.
And Townsend has been playing good all summer. She got to the quarters of Toronto, and she's been,
But I mean, we
I
kind of knew that already, right? That Badosa was not gonna have a tough run. Like
Wang,
Azarenka,
Wang
would Azarenka really beat her or like have a chance at beating her in the fourth round? I don't think so. It probably would have been tougher than against Yafan Wang. Krejcikova, it depends. I mean, Vansh is a big fan, so probably he thought that Krejcikova.
No, I didn't. I didn't actually. I had her losing. I had her getting to Badosa and then losing.
I think I did too, but I felt very confident in Paula being the better player there. So I don't know. I think we kind of knew that she was probably going to have a pretty easy run. But then again, I mean, Townsend and also Rusev was like straight up out talenting her in that match. So I don't know. I mean, Rusev looked like I don't want to give you the number, but like, yeah, she looked insane, really.
A real turnaround for Badosa in the last few weeks, right? Compared to where we were before that.
Yeah, she keeps saying that as well, right? About the
since Rome, she's been a different player to me, I would say.
Yeah, it was Rome a year before where her back sort of first flared up, actually. And it was also 3, 4, 5 months ago, so not a long time ago, when she was sort of saying things like, this is an injury I'm just going to have to manage for the rest of my career. It was like, oh, wow. Are we looking at a situation?
She's still like kind of, there's some days that she was saying in DC, there's some days where I wake up and it's like, it's not in good shape.
And she's surprised with it, right? That right now she's able to play at this level, but well, she is. Right. And yeah, as I think we've said many times, basically since maybe around even like March last year or something like that, anytime we get her fit enough to play, she's been top 10-ish or something like that. And that's where the ELO rankings put her as well, and I don't think it's wrong at all.
Yeah. I think if she wins, she'll be like 11th in the race, which is like, that feels right.
Okay.
If she beats Navarro. She's already top 20 in the rankings, and she was like 100 before the Australian Open. So.
Okay. And Navarro, we are giving her, I'm giving her a very good chance. Why don't you think Navarro can win this particular encounter, Vanch?
No, I definitely give her a chance. It's like, it's a pretty close match. I'm picking Badosa based on just more confidence, recent form. I think Navarro, like, she's looked good so far, but I think Badosa's ceiling is higher, and if she hits that ceiling, I think she could outplay Navarro.
Fair enough. Can Qinwen Zheng provide a different result to Australia, Damien, against Sabalenka?
My expectations aren't super high. I mean, we've seen in both the US Open last year and Australia how that matchup looks on quicker courts. I don't really know what Qinwen can do about it. Obviously, she's playing with a lot of confidence right now. I just don't know if that confidence really counts for much. If Aryna is basically just hitting a big, deep, heavy ball of both wings and not allowing Qinwen to play her game. Like, I think Qinwen needs some degree of space, at least, to play her best tennis. And of course, she can get that on clay. Of course, she can get that in like slower and slower hard courts. But yeah, my expectations aren't super high. I hope to be wrong. I hope it's a cracker because, well, this literally is two of the best players of the season. But yeah, I don't know. And that's an interesting question as well from Swarna. Who do you think will qualify for the WTA Finals? Just kind of popped up the list, and like if Rybakina doesn't play, for example, then I think the top 8 is like pretty clear, unless we have Badosa or Muchova winning this slam. So like Swiatek, Sabalenka, of course, are already in. Paolini will obviously make it. I think Goff will obviously make it. Pegula looks like she's obviously gonna make it. And after that, right now we have Navarro, Collins, and Zheng. And if no one wins like a WTA 1000 out of nowhere or this slam out of nowhere, then that's probably going to be the list pretty much. And like Navarro, Collins, Zheng.
Wait, actually, Krejcikova is going to be in no matter what because she won Wimbledon.
That's not a thing on the WTA.
Not yet.
No. Wait, I thought they changed it this year. They
have changed it, but is it this year or next year they're changing it for?
Oh, they changed it.
No, I think they changed it. They changed it, so it's basically you're going to have to look at the top 7 now.
Oh.
And I think we may see a fall from Collins now. I in terms of what tournaments she plays.
Yeah.
She might
in terms of what she plays, that's kind of the most interesting, important thing here.
Yeah. So then it's sort of Navarro versus Zheng, really, and of course they're both in quarterfinal action. So
I do think it's still pretty there's some players.
Yeah, that's true. They changed it already. Okay.
Yeah.
Like 11 through 16 range, like Ostapenko to Schneider, that have an outside chance, maybe.
Ostapenko's
they'd have to win.
I mean, they'd have to win 1,000. Like that's kind of the only way you can do it, right?
1,000 still left to play, so
there is, yeah.
500s.
I mean, Caro Garcia in 2017 wins both Wuhan and Beijing, right? And kind of makes the WTA Finals through the back door. Like that's possible. That's something that someone like Kalinskaya could do, for example. Maybe not.
Badosa,
I don't know about Kalinskaya, but
I don't see Ostapenko or Kazakh keen.
Madison Keys.
Andreeva? No.
Where's
probably. Andreeva? Is she like 20 right now? Okay, yeah, so she's
around, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I failed to realize that they changed that rule. So I guess Krejcikova should like this unless there's a slam champion this time. Like, for example, let's imagine that Beatriz Haddad Maia wins the slam and then she's not going to make it into the top 8. And then
it gets
maybe she takes Krejcikova's spot.
Yeah,
we would have to see, but yeah, I guess Krejcikova indeed has a pretty good situation. So that takes out a spot from somebody, and it very well could be Collins. It's pretty wild that Qinwen is not like secured, but I mean, other than the Australian Open final and the Olympics, the season hasn't been that amazing for her, right?
Yeah,
and no points for the Olympics, obviously.
Yeah, and Zhao also highlighting quite a lot of 500s because, quite a lot.
So I agree that Sabalenka is a big favorite against Zheng, but I will say that Zheng has been doing something a little bit better this tournament, which she's like going back on the return, like giving herself a bit more time, and seemed to work sometimes against when Vekic was serving really big yesterday. I know Sabalenka is just a different level of power off both wings than Vekic, and
heaviness as well,
heavier. Like it's going to be hard to combat. But, I'd like to see some progress. Like she won 5 games at the US Open and 5 games at the Australian Open, Maybe there'll be tighter sets this time. Like maybe, I'm hoping to see a little more progression, let's say.
Yeah, that's
a competitive match.
That's very plausible. That is very, very plausible. So our 4 semi-finalists, well, mine will be Swiatek-Pegula. I think we're agreeing on 3 of the 4, right? Swiatek-Pegula, Sabalenka, right?
Yeah.
And I think I'll go Navarro against Badosa. Not with any great confidence, but I'll go Navarro against Badosa just to be different, and you can both have Badosa.
As I said, I cannot be objective on this one. Not that I'm even like a huge Paula Badosa fan or anything, but I kind of got into this run based on that semi-final peak from before the event. And now I'm just like, I literally cannot right now think objectively about this.
If that was Osaka there, also, of course, Osaka against Mukhova, for example.
I also pre-tournament had Badosa, so I don't feel like changing that right now. I don't think I've seen enough to go the other way.
I'm not actually judging this analytically or objectively. I'm just kind of like, Badosa, let's go. It would be the same if Lehechka played Djokovic in the quarters.
Lehechka, was one of your semi-finals.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I'm just trying to remember who I had in my semis. I'm gonna find it very quickly now because I've got downloaded.
When I saw that he went 5 with Mitchell Kruger, I was like, oh, this is not going to happen for him.
Right. But he then won a couple of matches, didn't he? I think he went out 3rd or 4th, didn't he?
He lost to Rublev. That's the match that we both had him beating Rublev when we did our preview.
third round, and
Yeah.
he got outplayed like completely. But at least he wasn't like in the second round against Mitch. It wasn't like that sort of low energy and kind of just completely random performance. 11 games in a row lost and stuff.
Yeah.
So I forgot that I had Emma Navarro in my semi-finals.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, that makes sense because, like,
Yeah.
well, most of us were picking Goff to lose early, so it had to be either Badosa or Navarro really in semis, right?
I would imagine I had her beating Goff Navarro in my bracket. Yeah.
I didn't even have Goff getting to Navarro. I had Svitolina beating her, and Svitolina played a very bad third set. Otherwise, I don't even think that was a bad pick.
Did she show that, by the way, Joao? Remember Stuttgart, for example? Like, that was a good match between Badosa and Sabalenka. Of course, it ends in a retirement, but
I have 6 of the 8
Stuttgart
quarterfinals.
was really close. That's true.
I just had Kalinskaya against Osaka rather than Haddad Maia against Muchova. But I had.
I think I might have had Kalinskaya as well.
To the quarters. Did anybody have Haddad Maia going this far?
Of course not.
I mean, that's also the section that Rybakina was in, so there was,
Haddad Maia had like a tough opponent in the first or second round, right?
Avanesian first round, and there was 3 sets.
I think I picked Avanesian to win that.
I don't know if I'm thinking of Avanesian when I'm thinking
No,
of
you might not be, but I know Kira had Avanesian in her semis.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah. I guess Kalinskaya was the opponent I had Haddad Maia losing to simply in the third round.
Yeah. That sounds right.
But because I've got to go for Navarro even more. So I had Navarro beating Badosa. I have Sabalenka beating Zheng, both in my bracket, and I will also stick with that. And I also had Iga beating Jessica Pegula. Okay, well, we'll soon find out over the next 24 hours or so. And you can all join the comment section in about a week from now. You'll get clever after the event will be writing something about whatever we're saying. It'll probably be a quarterfinal lineup of Pegula, including Pegula, Zheng, and
Haddad Maia.
Haddad Maia lifting the title. Someone very clever from now will be writing, yeah, I told you Haddad Maia was going to win the US Open. And well, that will be it. Anyway, big thanks for joining us today. Like, subscribe, and all that other jazz. Do make sure you give these guys a follow, of course, on the social medias, primarily Twitter. And, of course, check out the Tennis One app as well, which is where you'll find Vanch. And check out Deepest Darkest Poland, where you'll find Damien.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.